Police are on standby in the streets of Copenhagen, but it's what's happening inside that's being tightly monitored across the globe. Already, hopes of a legally binding treaty have been watered down. Now the goal is for a political agreement to set a timetable for a new international treaty. But key players have brushed off claims that the talks will lead to nothing substantial.
For those who claim that in Copenhagen a deal is impossible, they are simply wrong. You have a world summit taking place now with over 100 heads of government and heads of state coming. This is not a negotiating session. This is a meeting to complete a negotiation process that has lasted for over 2 years and is meant to end in a deal.
If, as you did last year, overnight you could mobilize trillions of dollars to bail out the banks, the bankers and their bonuses, surely a fraction of that amount is needed to actually bail out the climate, bail out the poor and bail out the future of our children and grandchildren.
Australia will commit to emissions cuts of between 5 and 25% by 2020 under a new deal, depending on the outcome of the talks. The UN wants an agreement that includes targets for developed countries and a fund to help poor nations adapt.
Well, actually, I don't think it's going to fail. I mean, if I look at the number of people that have committed to come here to make sure that it is a success, the announcements of financial support that we've received, the targets that have been announced, the developing country engagement that we're seeing, I don't think it's going to fail.
A report released on the eve of the conference says carbon emissions are unleashing more warming than previously thought. Published in the journal Nature Geoscience, it says carbon dioxide indirectly causes up to 50% more global warming. But amid calls for action, even the host nation concedes the meeting may have to resume in 6 months to sign a new treaty to replace the Kyoto Protocol, which expires in 2012. Some scientists say the offers on the table from India, China and the United States for this conference are not enough to avoid a temperature rise of more than 2 degrees by the end of the century. Amy Bainbridge, ABC News.